Hello, welcome to my channel, you guys. Today is the 3/3 portal, so I wanted to do a video on cutting cords to toxic cycles, karmic people, karmic relationships, old habits, and shedding your ego. I also wanted to say that I had a much better day today than I did the past week. Things got lighter and things are on their way, so I am happy about that. I did a really rough exercise regimen that I needed today for my mental health and my physical vessel. I did 13.3 miles, so I surpassed my goal, so I feel really good. It's an optimistic day. I am taking care of some things, adulting, and soon, things are gonna just fall into place to the point where I'm happy now, because the last 40 years were a lot of lessons I had to learn the hard way, because not just my choices, but empath, so I sponge energy. I'm a psychic, I'm a seer, I'm a claircognizant, I'm a clairsentient, clairvoyant, I'm a telepathic, and I have lots and lots of spiritual gifts, to the point where I've had many, not just dark nights of the souls, but just lots of ego deaths, and just like a lot of being affected by the actions of others, to the point where my psychic gifts are very profound. So if I walk into a grocery store or the mall or a crowd of people, I could just easily pick up on, it's just automatic, their emotions. I could have visions of some of them and what they went through. I could read their thoughts. So it's a lot. So I have to surround myself with lots of smoke of sage and bay leaves and florida de agua. I have to shield myself a lot. But today finally felt like something was lifted off of me, and I feel really good on my mental health, because I walked 13.3 miles today, and then last night I walked 4 miles, and just getting back in the swing of things and being optimistic. And then it's when I was optimistic and things like this, good things follow. So it really depends on your attitude, to the point where you have to take care of your mental health. Okay, I don't care if you don't feel like getting out of bed, get yourself out of bed, do some workouts, do whatever makes you feel good and lifted. I mean, you don't want to walk around feeling low. You don't want to walk around feeling lethargic or drained or depressed or anxious, or if you have ADHD, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD after a lot of stuff I went through, and it was from trauma. But I use more essential oils help me, to where I love a really good lavender essential oil. I love a really good mint essential oil. Incenses help me, and my nerves and things like this. So today I took care of my physical vessel, and I was I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna see how much I can endure before I start getting in physical pain. And I just kept going, to the point where I'm really proud of myself. And I rewarded myself. And then the lady at the courthouse today, because I went to the courthouse today to do something for me, she was actually very nice to me. I had to mend, and I had to do a form, and things are on their way, to the point where this is going to be a really good new beginning for me, after 40 years of just going through a lot of karmic cycles, and just breaking these cycles away. Because if you are getting affected by others, and if you're spiritually adept and open, and if others are just going to keep intruding on boundaries, and know that it's time to separate yourself from this toxic cycle. So today we're going to talk about breaking toxic cycles. We're going to talk about generational curses. we're going to talk about a lot of different things in this video. We're going to talk about your mental health and how you can, you know, feel better, and how you can self-help yourself, how you can break generational curses. I can't stress this enough, you guys. And it was really windy today. I used to live in Illinois, as well as New Jersey and New York and Georgia for a little bit, and then I moved to California, and I had like a road trip from, you know, Florida all the way to California, and I mean, you know, Texas, like. But today when I was walking, and I'm in Florida, you guys, it was like a mini, not typhoon, but it was like a hurricane. Like my hair was like everywhere, but I was vibing in the wind. Like, I'm very lucky because like it wasn't like humidity and sunshine. It was like a little bit overcast and the wind, to the point where like I feel like the element of air really helped blow out just older negative energies, as well as, you know, it just feels better to, you know, go and do cardio and just not worry about anything, and just, you know, really treat your physical vessel, and then like later on have like a cheat meal. So like today my cheat meal was a chicken fajita quesadilla from Wawa, which was yummy, you guys. Last night I got some like birria and a chicken quesadilla from this taco place kind of like around the corner. It was like almost 4 miles down the road, but like it wasn't serving, to the point where like I couldn't finish the birria taco. And I accidentally got the pork instead of the beef or the chicken. But I think it was called tacos my gooey. I don't know how to pronounce it, but like the quesadilla was good, but it wasn't as good as the quesadilla, fajita quesadilla from Wawa. And the burrito tacos at Tacos My Gooey were like just 3 little tacos for $15, and then a chicken quesadilla. And like last night I paid like $32 and change, almost $33, just for like a quesadilla and 3 little burrito tacos. It comes with 3, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then today at Wawa, I literally just, you know, I was like, damn, like I walked 13.3 miles, about 13.3 miles. Last night I walked 4 miles. They let me do a cheat meal, so I did a, you know, that really yummy fajita, Wawa quesadilla. And I got so many things on it, to the point where like I got the caramelized onions. I got like, you know, spicy peppers. I like spices. And just like yummy, like red, spicy hot sauce. You know, I was Mexican in a past life. I was also Aztec, Native American. And then I had another life where I was half Aztec, Native American, plus Mexican. And I remember the vision of this life, to the point where like I had a really good dad in that life, and I had a really good mom. And I didn't have any siblings, I didn't have any kids, but we were like in like the Navajo like desert, and then like we kind of traveled from like New Mexico, Texas to South Dakota because our tribe was up there. And you know, so I know a lot of ancient shamanesque medicine woman healing from that life, and my soul remembers this, you guys. And it's profound when you like you're able to really lock in and tap in and be like, oh my god. Because I remember, you know, the alternative healing medicine practices that I did in that life. I remember the medicine practices that I did in my Indian life. I also had a past life in actual India. And then I remember like just different types of healing modalities I would do in these lives, to where I was a curandera in Mexico, and I was beautiful in that life as well, to the point where like you know, I had a really good protective dad in that life. I had a really protective husband. You know, we don't always reincarnate with the same souls. So like in this life, it's kind of been harder, because the souls who are like my soul tribe in those lives that I'm talking about, like my ancient Native American, you know, Navajo tribe with my Aztec and my Mexican past lives, so like they're not earthbound, so like they're still in the spirit realm, but they're my spirit guides, and they're like my ancestors, to where they protect me. But I miss them so much physically, to the point where I'm just like, you know, I have to cope and like do different things. Like, okay, I'm just gonna burn some sage, and I don't just burn sage to burn it, you guys. Like, this is like my medicine. Like, have some people smoke cigarettes, some people smoke weed, some people drink, some people use sex. This is like all of that, like all of that's what those people use. This like helps me. This is like my medicine, to the point where like this really cleanses my aura. You know, I'm spiritually adept, I'm spiritually gifted, so like I need stuff like this, just like somebody like, you know, is gonna need weed every day, or someone's gonna need alcohol, or someone's gonna have like, you know what I mean, like they self-medicate. This is like, you know, this helps me in my aura because, you know, when I walk, there's tons and tons and tons of cars from the Matrix, you guys, and like they go by me, so like I'm constantly like absorbing these people's auras, their emotions, their moods, their energies, and it gets to be a lot. Okay. You know, I don't just light all this to light it. Like, this has a purpose, it's got a property, it has a meaning, to where it can be ancient shamanesque medicine. But yeah, no, finally things are getting lifted, you guys. Like the end of this week and then next week, everything's gonna like get better to the point where like just so many good changes that like I'm doing for myself that like I didn't do before. Like I'm finally focusing on myself, to where before I couldn't focus on myself and it was always like, you know, some shit happening. But like I took steps to finally like change it. And you guys see, this is like an upcoming video to where like after like everything goes through, like I cannot wait, because today I had to change something in the court for myself, but in the long run it's going to really benefit me, and I'm so excited to where like I cannot wait to share this news with you. But we're going to do some cord cutting. So like, okay, we're going to do cord cutting on low self-esteem, we're going to do cord cutting on breaking bad habits. This is my intention for you for the video. And you can see like my hair was like, oh, flopped around today. I got like a tan, but I don't care. Like, even if it's overcast in Florida, even if you go to the beach in Florida and it's overcast, or like if you walk down the street, and I walked for like 4 hours today, I don't even know. And I even took the city bus somewhere else, and then I walked over there. And it's just, it feels really invigorating in my mental health. Like I feel a lot more clearer, I feel lifted, I feel like, you know, good in my physical vessel, you know. And like when you set goals for yourself, and like you know, smash and squash these goals, and you start actively taking like definitive action to start, you know, making changes for yourself in your life, like that's where the growth comes in. You know, and I'm really happy to the point where like, you know, I've overcame and I'm like growing, and I've shed ego deaths, and like, you know, things are coming together. So I'm also going to, and I'm proud of myself, you guys. So like I'm gonna share this in a future video. I'm not gonna share this right now, but I'm really proud of myself because it took like a lot for me to like really like start to like initiate like steps of action and change, to the point where like I had to go through like lesson after lesson after lesson in spirit. Like I felt like my spirit guides, I felt like I had like for a long time I felt like I had 3 male spirit guides, and one of them just like I would envision him like holding a Modelo, like, this bitch, how many times are we gonna warn this bitch and she's still not getting it, and him passing out on the beach. And then like another one trying to like jump off a cliff, like, this bitch, how many times do we have to show you this karmic lesson until she gets it. And then I had like another one like just be like, what the fuck, you know. But it's like eventually like I got it, you know what I mean. And it's like it took me a while, but you know, this is like how it is. Like you learn at your own pace, and you know, things are coming together, they're coming together. So I feel more chill today. I feel like, okay, like I didn't get to do this before the past, you know, 20 years, but I'm gonna do it now. And then you guys, the Uber on the way back, there was this cute guy, and he was like 26. What? And he was Puerto Rican, and he had nice eyes. He was beautiful. And I was like, we were talking, and I was like, damn, if I was like a little bit younger, like, he was fine. He was moving back to Texas. And like I love Texas. Like I love Houston and Dallas. Like when I drove from here all the way to California, I remember it first started getting beautiful in, I don't remember if it was Houston or Dallas, but it was one of those cities. It was so pretty. And then I went into New Mexico, and I saw the canyons, and the mountains, and I was like, oh my God, my soul. So like my soul has been out there for a very long time, but like I've been coming back because my kids are here, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like if anything were to happen, God forbid, to one of their fathers, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to be like for my kids, but I'm getting everything together. And this thing that I've been doing for myself in the courthouse, it's the first step to it. And I'm really happy because like I wanted to do this shit for years for me, and I just never had the funds. I never had like the time. I never had a babysitter. So now it's just like, okay. And then like I put like an application in somewhere last night, and then I put another application in last Friday somewhere else, and then I put another application somewhere today. So it's just like things are gonna start like picking up for me to the point where, and I want to say that you guys, sometimes you really have to fucking go through like the worst so you can grow. Like to the point where like before I would blame people, and then I was just like, okay, wait a second. I had to take a step back and take accountability and be like, okay, I literally went through the cycle so much. Like, maybe it's not working because I need to fucking take the action steps to advocate for a change. Like, I was keeping myself stuck in self-sabotage. You know what I'm saying? I was holding fucking the past over fucking people's heads. I was living in the past for a long time. I was like fucking so sad. And I would just be like, why? Like, why? And then sometimes I would be like, okay, well, like this person did this to me and this person did this to me. And then I'd feel sorry for myself. And then it was just like this, like, cycle to the point where it's like, okay, like no, like I'm gonna start taking initiative actions. And what really started helping was Reiki healing, so like energetic healings. And I was like, oh my god, I love these healings. Then I was like, okay, let me be a healer, because I was supposed to be a healer for a long time. And I've had past lives, you guys, like to the point where like I had a past life with one of my daughters in Africa, and she was actually a caregiver to me. She was my older sister, and her husband took care of me when my mother in that life, which she's not earthbound either, my mother in that life, she had so many kids and she was older. So like my sister, who's now my, daughter, she took care of me in that life. And so like we had like a Yoruba life, like connected to Oya and Yamaya and Ogun and Shango. So that's where that modality came into this life, okay? And then it's like I still have so many memories of, yes, that life, my ancient Indian past life, to where I watched my great grandma, or actually, I'm sorry, it's my actual ex's, my first ex in this life. It's his great grandma, but she was my mother. Her name was Modesta in that life, and I would watch her. She would take care of me. She was a single mom, and we would sit on this huge like beautiful Indian rug, and she would do like healings for people, and also rune, like not tarot readings, but she would use like rune stones, but it was called something else. And she'd make a living like that, and she'd make like tinctures, elixirs to heal people. And then in this life, my great grandma Antonia, on my mother's side, she was a doula and a medicine woman. And so, and then in my past Mexican life, I was a curandera, and I had like, my husband, my dad, and they're not earthbound in this life. So it's like, they're in my spirit realm, but I miss them, especially like hugging my dad in that life, because he was a different soul than my father in this life. So like, yeah, even my father in this life, he's not earthbound anymore. He crossed the veil. So he's not here anymore. But this life, honestly, like, oh, and I remember my Italian past life, and I remember my French past lives, and I remember my Egyptian past lives. So I've been here, my soul's been on earth many, many incarnations. So this is where, and I remember each modality, I would always be like a healer, except in my, okay, in France, Italy, and Egypt, even though I had 2 lives in each of those countries, on earth, I was more like royalty, like princess. And I was a French princess in a past life, and then I was an Italian princess in another past life. And then in my ancient Egyptian past life, I was a daughter of a great pharaoh, and then another past life, I was like a queen, like Nefertiti. And then it's like, so this is where like my goddess, like status comes into the point where like I've been a shamaness, a healer, a curandera in some of my past lives, and then I was like royalty in other past lives, to where like I had like, servants, and I had castles, but I've also known what it's like to struggle in my Indian past life and my African past life, and be in poverty, to where I think that, like, unknowingly, I took some of those poverty strings into this one, because, like, I was just homeless, like, for like 5.5 months, like, in my car and stuff, to where, like, I had to start energetically breaking these, energetic ties, and just going in there energetically, like, healing myself. Like, last night I did a Reiki healing on myself. Was like cutting the cords to so many things, and it feels good when, you come out of, like, being, like, what is the word, oppressed. I was oppressed for a long time, to the point where, like, I had actually was self-sabotaging myself, and then people with beef with me because, they were jealous. Like, for instance, Natalia. Okay, so I don't really want to give her energy. I don't really want to talk about people anymore. That's not what I do, because I don't want to give them my energy cord. But that is, my ex's ex-wife, or whatever the fuck they are. I don't even know, because I know that, like, they signed the divorce papers and she supposedly sent them off, but you never really know, because, like, people lie, and I don't trust people anymore, to the point where, like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I completely let him go, to the point where, like, but, I have a concern because my daughters are there. But anyways, this woman, she's been trying to come in and corrupt me from a past life. So, like, I had to cut that karmic cord, like, last night, like, really bad, to the point where, like, and then today I had to take care of my mental health. And for me to take care of my mental health, yes, essential oils, incenses of Palo Santo, and, myrrh and frankincense and dragon's blood, and then sage, and, sabio blanco, all of this helps me very much, like, not just in my nerves, but in my spirituality, because I'm so evolved. And it's very hard for me to find somebody just as spiritually evolved as me, because a lot of people have not had spiritual awakenings like me. A lot of people, their souls aren't as old, like, ancient as mine, to where, like, I had one person from the plaza. He was just a platonic friend. His name was David Cotelis, and he literally was like, you know what it is? He was like, you're just so evolved, and you're so brilliant. You're like a genius, to where you have to dumb yourself down for these mortals, because, they're so basic, and it's like, it's so true, like, what he said. I'm like, oh my God, you get me. And I was like, damn, it's too bad I wasn't attracted to him, because, like, he understood me. So we're like, it's never like that. And, like, it's always, like, the dudes who, like, are really good in bed. They're not emotionally available. They wouldn't make good husbands, but they're damn good in bed. But was there a future with them? No. It's gonna be, it's always like that. You know what I mean? To the point where it's just like, damn. And it's like, if you've had somebody like that, and then if you have people like that, and then you're just like, damn, I don't want to settle for less. You know what I mean? And it's like, unfortunately, like, these, like, mortals, like, these basic people who, like, are more like atoms, and who, like, like, you would want to settle down with, like, they're normal and shit. Like, I'm not attracted to normal men. So, like, that's not going to work for me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know it's complicated, but, so I've been making the changes for myself, and I've been kind of, basking in both of I've been doing duality, to where, like, I will allow myself to be soft and divine feminine, and then I'll allow myself to go into my divine masculine, to take these initiative action and changes, to the point where, like, okay, it's time for me to level up, it's time for me to move forward, it's time for me to shed, it's time for me to take action. And, this is the year in the Chinese zodiac for the fire horse, to where, like, the fire horse is going to light the fire under your ass, you guys. Like, the fire horse is not going to play. Like, he's going to be like, no, you were in a cycle, and we're going to break you of that this year. Like, this is the year that you're actually going to, last year was the shedding. Last year was hard. I was, like, living in my car. I was watching my daughters live in the car, because, we were, like, attacked by, Natalia. She was a witch for, like, so long, to the point where, like, her magic got us to live in a fucking car, okay? I know for sure that it was her fucking black magic, but anyways, but when I moved there, I, like, started learning so much about myself. I started, like, being able, like, before the attacks out there, I was able to, like, kind of live my life as, like, a free spirit, to where, like, after, my ex-fiance picked up my daughters, I was able to just kind of have, that a little bit of leeway to go and do my nature photography, which helped heal my soul, and do, just do, like, what I needed to do. And, like, yeah, I was working and things. And then it was just, like, there was a group of dark witches at my old job at Babaku's. And, then the brother of the Dark Witches worked right next door at Jersey Mike's, and they were all doing witchcraft in there. Their mother, and then it was just like they had thrown a bunch of fucking witchcraft on me, and then it was just like, you know, people had heard and they saw me like living in my car, so then like, you know, a lot of people were like trying me, but like before like the witchcraft was thrown, because it was a fucking girl named Vanity, and then it was a girl named Destiny at Bubba and then it was a girl named Sinclair, and then it was a dude next door at Jersey Mike's, and then it was like his mom, and like his mom, Vanity's mom, and Sinclair's mom were like, she was like a witch like Natalia, to the point where like they basically did some magic on me to like turn like basically just different groups, just a bunch of people in the plaza like against me, to the point where like I had to move to a stairwell eventually, and then I was rejecting a lot of men, to the point where like they were fucking pissed off at me, you know. And then it's like, and then like, you know, they were drugging me, and I did a video about like, you know, the plaza last night, to the point where like, you know, I explained a little bit more about like, you know, the things that had happened, but like I needed that experience to grow. Like I needed to go through that so I could grow. Sometimes you need to go through hardships so you could fucking grow and shed your ego and evolve in your soul and be like, okay, like, you know, this is the change that I need to do. Like, this is the initiative that I need to take. I need to make these changes because I'm not going to be stuck in that cycle. You know what I'm saying? So, like, last year was the year of the snake. We shed. This year is the fire horse. And today's the 3/3 portal, which also the last, like, I don't even know, like, how many months felt so fucking heavy, to the point where, like, you know, I was doing things to cope that normally I wouldn't have done. Like, if that was, like, the old me, like, before the plaza. But, like, you know, you make choices based on kind of, like, you know, your trauma, or, like, you make choices based on, like, you know, just how you feel at the moment. Like, I can be a very spontaneous, impulsive person, to the point where, like, I don't like to plan ahead, because, like, if I plan ahead, and then it's like, just say I plan for something, and then it's like that day I don't feel like doing it, and that's going to be a problem for me. So I don't like to plan. I'm spontaneous. So, like, if I feel like doing something, I'm going to do it. So that's just always been my personality ever since I was, like, ever since I can remember, 18, whatever. But yeah, you guys, like, today was a good day because I went back. I fucking made another change to my documents, and it's gonna go through, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna definitely be going through very soon, and I'm almost positive, to the point where, like, I'm excited, because I put this off for so long, and now it's just like, okay, I could finally fucking, like, live my life, to the point where, like, you know, I could finally make changes, to the point where, like, I can finally be happy, you know, and just, like, do what I need to do for my life, finally, without distractions, without witchcraft attacks. Because now my spirit guides are like, you leveled up so much that, like, you know, you leveled up so much that if people start to attack you, it's not even going to touch you. We're going to make sure it just boomerangs back to them. We're not going to let it touch you. That's how my spirit guides are right now. Let me find something, you guys, because today I took the city bus. And sometimes I like to ride the bus because, like, it clears my mind. Believe it or not, like, sometimes, like, taking the bus, like, clears your mind. Like, you go sightseeing, you walk, you go in nature, sunshine, the air. And I kind of needed that today. But, like, look what happened to this one, you guys. It's like, but it's okay. It's good. It's fine. And I don't know where I put the like, little vials for these. I love the little glass vials that I got. But yeah, like, I had to take, like, initiative changes, to the point where I was just like, okay, like, let me just live my life, you know, like, let me just be in peace. And at this point, like, when you're, like, when you get to, like, 40 and 41, you just want fucking tranquility. You don't want no fucking drama, to the point where, like, I had to, like, cut off so many fucking people in my life and put boundaries up to not hurt them, but to just protect my aura and protect my peace, you know. And it's like, sometimes, like, some days after all the trauma, because I really have went through some shit in this life, I know we all do, but, like, mine's kind of heavier, to the point where, like, sometimes like I don't feel like talking. Sometimes I don't feel like being around people. Sometimes if somebody wants to talk to me, it has nothing to do with them, but it's everything to do with me, that I'm not in the mood, and I'm just gonna put a boundary up and just like kind of protect my peace, protect my energy, and protect my aura, to the point where I won't answer, to protect myself. Because, you know, energy really spreads, and like evil eye spreads, and I know this for a fact, you guys. But yeah, like I'm making some changes to my life, and it's feeling really good, because, you know, I'm finally like, and it started in the plaza last year. Like I was so proud of myself, like when I walked into Bubbakoo's though, and I got that job like on the spot. I was so proud of myself when they hired me at Wendy's too. And like I was working like 2 jobs for a little bit, and then like I left Wendy's, and then I just fully went to Bubbakoo's, and then like my manager at the time was giving me like a bunch of hours, to where I would have like, I don't know, 36, 37, 38 hours. And you know, it felt good to, it even felt good to go back to my car, you guys, after work, and then just like seeing like the paycheck like come into my green dot card, and just be able to shop for myself and take care of myself, you know what I mean? To the point where like, it's really kind of a shame that like Vanity and Vincent and Sinclair and their mom and Destiny and Kiki had to like fucking put black magic on me and turn like several groups from the plaza against me. But you know, it had to happen that way. I didn't really like that job, because they ended up treating me just like really bad, because something had happened with somebody there. He was a friend, and he worked there before me. Something happened between us, and like what did I call him last night in that video? Jack. That's not his name. But anyways, he's doing good too now, and I can't like say his real name, you know, for legal purposes only. You just like protect my friend, cuz he's still my friend. And we still talk. He still hits me up, and he's cool. He's good. He's in a different part of like the state. But like he's doing much better now, because like he was like in this group to where like those people were doing black magic. They were burning down, you know, Santeria candles on him to keep him there, because he was so enigmatic. My friend, I can't say his name, but we'll call him Jack. He was a dark divine masculine. He was enigmatic. He was spontaneous. He was free spirited like me. Like we just flowed. Like we had, you know, there was chemistry. And it like when I like was around him, like he laughed, like it just like magnetically like pulled me to him. And we would like, you know, we went for like a walk out there, and like we went to like the trailhead, and you know, he would be there for me. And then like we met up again like after in like November, and like, you know, he's cool to the point where like he was like somebody, you know, that like I don't know. I can't explain it, but he was like, he helped me, you know, when so many people like, you know, thought of me as something that I wasn't, that like these dark witches were claiming for me to be, and I wasn't even like that. But yeah, no, it was an experience, but you live, and you really live, and you learn. And when you really let yourself live, and you really let yourself get out of your comfort zone, that's when you start to truly live. Like I wanted to for a long time go and move out into my car for so long, to the point where like I tried to get my ex to get my daughters. He was spelled out by this dark witch, and she'd still be casting on him, and he's just so far gone. He's like lost to the point where like he doesn't even run his own mind anymore. Like his ex-wife and his freaking mother run his mind, because he's kind of weak-minded. He's not very strong-minded, and he's very like, he's awakened but he's asleep. Like he was chosen, but he chooses to sleep on his gifts, to the point where it's just kind of like, it's kind of like a lost cause. It's a waste, because he doesn't use his spiritual gifts. He has them, but he chooses to stay really matrixy. He chooses to stay like in that box. He chooses to, you know, he chooses to stay, I hate to say this, toxic, because that's what he fucking is. So like, you know, that was never gonna work. And like I just had this profound thing to where like I completely like let go of him, you know what I mean? Like to the point where like I feel empowered. And you guys, look at these vials. They're so pretty. Aren't they so pretty? Like I love stuff like this. Oh look, we could do ASMR tapping, you guys. And I love this color. And this one, so I can't, actually I'm gonna put this on now. This is the only, so I only have 2 more little ones that haven't broken. The other 2 broke. This one was the bus driver's fault though, because the bus driver, he like floored it after I got on. He did not wait for me to sit down. He was kind of a douche. So like my strap on my freaking purse kind of broke, bro. To the point where like I had to, luckily there was like another see how this is like latched? And then this one broke today. This one, where is it? I put it in here. Jeez, my ring gets caught on everything. I put it in here, but this is not the thing. I have to find the vial to this. But this is like mine, to where like, you know, I'm glad I got another light pink one, because the other day my other light pink one broke. This one broke. Okay. So this one broke and then this one broke, but I still have the green one and the light pink one, so I'm grateful for that. And then I have like other ones that smell like roses that like I physically took out of the thing and I hung. So like, yeah, when you really make this change to the point where like you start making changes to your life, you start working on yourself, you start focusing, putting all the focus on yourself, like things feel better. Like to the point where like I was thinking of doing an exercise to where I don't talk for like 3 days, which I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do. But I was thinking like I might do that, you know what I mean? To the point where like I stay disciplined in my workout routine, and I can start staying disciplined, and you know, I don't need to give my energy to people. Like, you know, it's my own energy. But you guys, oh my god, the quesadilla fajita from Wawa is so much better than the tacos Magui. They have really good burrito tacos, not at Tacos Magui. Don't go there for the burrito, not the pork ones. They have really good tacos at Señor Taco. Burrito tacos at Señor Taco. I wouldn't recommend Chipotle. I got like a bowl from there, and then I would not recommend La Granja. There's another Mexican place that I kind of want to try called Habaneros, but I don't know. Like, I want to try it, and then there's a Puerto Rican restaurant called like San Juan that I want to try. There's a really yummy Puerto Rican place on Colonial over here, and it's called like La Lechonera too. They have a yummy like arroz con gandules, empanadillas, rellena de papas, all of this stuff. So we're like, it's so good, you guys. I was a Latina in a past life, so I can cook the Puerto Rican food. You know, 2 of my baby's fathers, my ex-fiancés, are Puerto Rican. One's from San Juan, and the other one's from Bayamon, to the point where like the person who drove me home today, who I met today, he actually was from Bayamon, and he had pretty eyes. I was like, oh my god. Like, he was sweet too. Like, he pulled up and literally I was like, who is this? Because you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, when you're not around like masculines like that, like who look pretty every day, like, and then you know, the really fine one, the Puerto Rican, pulls up, and then you're just like, god damn. But it's just like, you know, I was good. I was like, he was young, he was like 26, and I was like, okay, like let me be good. To the point where like the old me last year, like I would have completely been like, hey, let me get your number, what's your IG, you know, or what, you know. I was good today. I didn't. Anyways, he was pretty though. Like, he was very pretty. He let me sit in his car, and he went to Wawa to use the restroom, and he was nice to where like, and he had light to him, you guys. He wasn't a dark anything. Like his eyes were so pretty to where like he had a lot of light. You could tell, like, when, you know, the eyes are the window to the soul. So like you could tell like he was a light masculine. You know what I mean? So you could tell like when people have been really hurt versus when people are innocent and they have like so much light. You could see the pain in people's eyes. You could see the types of spirits, and you know, you could see the types of souls in the body. Like, I can. I don't know. Not everybody can, but you guys, like, it's just wild. I don't know. Life can be a crazy and wild life. Like, if, you know, you don't, it could just be crazy. Like, with whatever the divine has your path on, it could just be, you know, a crazy ass life. It could be like, okay, like, I didn't plan for anything, this just happened. And then last year, like, when I lived in the plaza, it felt so good, to the point where, like, before the attacks, before the black magic witchcraft. So, like, you know, when I was, like, living my life, like, after my, look, you guys, I found a unikite. and I'm looking at something. I'll tell you guys in another video, like when I have privacy, and like I'll tell you in another video, but I was looking at something that was like for old me. And this right here has been in this house. I need to cleanse it. You guys, it's a Unikite. Sorry about that. If you have headphones in, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I just feel so much better today. Like, I feel so much better to the point where, like, you know, like, when you don't actively complain about anything and you don't fucking talk about your trauma, like, you're starting to heal. Like, you're healing. You know, and I've been on this healing. Like, I've been on this journey to the point where, like, and then, like, today I finally did something that I felt good about, and I'm proud of myself. You know, I'm really proud of myself, because before I would have just felt, like, icky, and I would have felt, like, you know, I don't know, all out of sorts, or, like, just feeling like other people projecting their energies on me. But no, today I feel really good. Like, today is just, like, this is a 3/3 portal. So, like, I deserve to feel good. Like, after all the shit that I went through in this life, you know. So we're going to cut cords from the evil eye, because a lot of people, you know, they won't have the best intentions for you, you know, and they could be people you be walking on the street taking a bus, and anyone could just send you the evil eye. So where, like I said, that'll hook in your physical vessel, and you'll start feeling like, like, you know, you'll start feeling low. But no, today, like, Mother Wind, she made me feel really good, to where, like, she blew a lot of past trauma away. Like, I needed that walk. You guys, I was stressing about doing, like, 10 to 12 miles, and today I surpassed that goal. I'm so proud of myself. I did 13.3 miles. Literally, last night I did 4 miles. Walking, like, literally by myself, like, proud of me. Like, most people, and then not on the phone with anyone. Like, today it was just, like, I took time for me, to the point where, like, no phone calls, no fucking, like, ill will energy. It was just, like, a me day, to the point where, like, and then it's like, you know, life can be really peaceful when you just fucking leave, and, like, you do things for yourself, and you make this change, this initiated action. The lady at the courtroom today, she was so nice to me, to where, like, I felt so grateful. And then there was this other person, he was a city worker, and he was really nice to me too. Like, when I got into, like, the city over there, it was, like, a little bit past Longwood, like, and almost towards Sanford. Like, he was nice. He was like, no, let me help you. He was like, this road's closed, and he was like, I'm not going to make you cross the street. He's like, I just want to walk with you to, you know, make sure you're safe and, like, no car hits you. And it was just, like, really sweet, because there's not people who care like that. And then, like, the lady at the courthouse was like, oh, no, you can change it, because I was trying to do something for me. She was like, you don't have to pay another $400. She was like, you can, it's going to be $4 for you. And I was like, thank you. To the point where, like, I thought that I would have to, like, pay the full price again. And I was, like, stressing out. So that's why, like, I, like, you know, I just feel really good. Like, today was a really good day. And, like, if you guys watch my past videos, like, you knew I've been going through it, to the point where, like, I deserved this day. You know what I mean? To the point where, like, I just went through, like, a really bad karmic cycle that closed for, like, 40 years. Like, it was a karmic as fuck cycle, to the point where, like, I paid other people's karmic debt that wasn't even supposed to be mine. Okay, it was a destiny swap. I paid their debt, you know, so I paid a bunch of karmic debt back, to the point where, like, I finally just fucking got out of that energy, and I'm like, thankfully, you know. And with that snake year, it was like he finally, like, made me shed all that shit, to the point where, like, I'm finally letting go. And you don't understand. It took me 41 years to let go. It was so hard to let go of old traumas. I'm not saying I'm completely healed, okay? But I'm saying, like, I'm a work in progress, to the point where, like, I'm proud of myself, you know? Because, like, I really did suffer a lot in this life at the expense of others, to the point where, like, you know, they were hurting me profoundly, purposely. Like, they would just do things to make me upset. They would do things to dishonor me, and to just really take me out of my calm, tranquil energy, to the point where, like, they knew what they were doing. And then when I learned how to control my emotions, and I stopped allowing, you know, them to siphon my energy, or, like, take my cord and use it for their own selfish benefit, or just stop letting them rage bait me, things finally started getting better, because I learned how to control my emotions, and I learned how to put up boundaries. And that's something that, you know, we all need to work on, especially if you're in, like, karmic cycle. Like, you must put up energetic boundaries. You have to say no. You have to honor yourself. We're in really weird times right now, you guys, like, to the point where, like, it's a dog eat dog world, okay? I'm not gonna lie. Like, everyone's for themselves. Like, the economy, it's so hard to where, like, men can't even be providers anymore. It's so expensive to live. To the point where, like, women who, like, you know, if you used to be a princess or a queen in a past life and you're used to having, like, a good dad and a husband, and, like, if you're used to being provided for, and, like, you know, if you're really used to being kept and taken care of, you know, in this life, this modern ass life, it's like gasp, like, oh my god, this, what the fuck, you know? It's just like, but it's just like you don't really have a choice, because it's just like, okay, this is modern times, and like, this is the modern world. This is like, we're surpassed the new age. Like, we're in the modern world. I'm pretty sure we're surpassed the age of Aquarius, right? I don't know, or are we in that still? I just know that, like, times have changed so much to where, like, you know, I'm a Generation Y, so, like, you know, I was born in the 80s, to the point where, like, I'm a Gen Y. It's called also millennials. I'm not a Gen Z. So, like, I'm getting used to, like, what, you know, Gen Z's kind of made this world. That, you know, Gen X's, they raised the Gen Z's. So it's kind of like, Gen X, what did you guys do to the why did you raise Gen Z like that? But then it's like the NWO, like the New World Order, and just like how expensive, like, you know, the economy after the COVID. It's just like so many different factors that play into this modern world, to the point where, like, you know, I don't care, like, men will blame feminists or whatever. I'm not a feminist, but like, they're like, oh, well, you know, you have to go to work because those feminists, they changed the laws. But this really is a man's world, you guys. Like, I'm a woman, so, like, I'm a woman living in a man's world, and trust me, it's not easy. Like, if you know, are constricted and you have to, like, take the bus, or, like, if you have to, like, do something and you need, like, permission from, like, you know, it's fucking a man's world, to the point where, like, look at our political leaders, look at our president, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at all of these, like, hierarchies. Like, okay, everything is, like, a rule now. Okay, they make things so hard. Like, you have to do background check for this, you have to do fingerprints for this, you have to have good credit for this, you have to build your credit for that, you have to get accepted, you have to get approved, you have to go through, like, this ruling process, to the point it's just like, this modern world sucks. Like, to where, like, you know, you want to go and live back in the fucking woods, like back in your old life, but you can't anymore, because, you know, the NWO and the modern world, they don't allow that shit. To where, like, they're getting, like, fucking homeless people off the streets, and they're making homeless people, I don't even know where the homeless people go now. Because, like, I was literally in Sanford and Longwood today, and there's a Wawa out there that I like to go to sometimes, just to, like, you know, wash my hands and just kind of freshen up, and even step in the fucking beer cooler, because it gets so hot down here and humid. Even though it was windy today, it was warm air. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't cool at all. So, like, it was like 80, it felt like 82, 85, around there. But anyways, the tables at Wawa were gone, and of course the dude was like, yeah, well, that was the homeless' fault. And I was just like, dude, but how are you gonna blame homeless people? Like, it's really not their fault, you know? Especially, like, I lived on a stairwell and I lived in my car, so it's just like, dude, don't fucking blame people. Like, some people just don't, you know, they don't have good families, or they don't have family, to the point where, like, you know, they go through hardships and things like this, to the point, like, I looked at him, like, because I didn't like how he said that, because I wanted to be like, okay, bitch, like, what if you lost this job at Wawa, and what if you were homeless? Like, how would you feel? And then somebody fucking blamed him, you know what I mean, for just being homeless. Like, it was just, like, things like this, you know what I mean? And then, but yeah, like, sometimes, like, I like to ride the city bus, because it cleanses my mind, and it gets me, like, you know, you go see different sights, you get out, you know what I mean? You see just different buildings, you got out in the sunshine, the air. Sometimes, you know, you just need to clear your head like that. You need to just be away from familiarity. It's just what you're used to being around every day. To me, it helps me. And then, like, when I go and, you know, I walk, I like to really just do cardio. But yeah, if you guys need any sessions, if you need energetic cleansings, if you need aura fluffing, hand movements, no talking, ASMR, Reiki, you know, Yusai Reiki, Fire Reiki, even if you need readings, a tarot reading, I do all of this work. So I'm going to do some hand movements now. And it feels really good to really, like, just get out in the wind and just clear your mind and do cardio. Like, you guys, it helped me so much today. It helped me so much today. And, like, I'm just so proud of myself, because, like, I surpassed so much fucking shit, to the point where, like, I'm just grateful. I'm going to do some Reiki to fluff your aura now. Yeah, if you knew what I was going through, and you would be proud too. You'd be like, oh, I'm so glad that you had like a better day today. And also, like, I had to put boundaries up to my ex and just tell him, like, look, I'm only going to talk to you from now on about our daughters strictly. I don't give a fuck about Natalia. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about what y'all got going on. You know, the divorce, I don't care. To the point where, like, I had to put energetic boundaries up to him because, like, it was stressing me out. You know, that was his choice, like, of him, you know, wanting to marry someone for whatever reasons, like, he wanted to marry her. I don't believe it was true love. I still don't believe it. But like I said, that's not my prerogative or my priority. That's not my energy. I could care fucking less. To the point where, like, I'm moving on with my life now. Like, I'm completely moving on. And I had told him, I was like, you really, like, fucked up. You know, he did. To the point where, like, he knows he fucked up. To the point where, like, he knows that, like, you know, it's done. You know, it's all about consequences of actions. You know, I can't be with somebody after they were with a dark witch who was spelling us for 8 years. Like, he cannot expect me to just get right back with him and things just be how they used to be. It's like when trust is broken, just like when you bust a mirror or you bust a glass and then you glue it together. You're going to see the cracks. I'm not about to go down that road again. I'm not about to do that. So we're just going to cleanse out any cracks or anything in your aura. But yeah, I had a really good day today compared to, like, I don't know. I had a really good day in June of last year when I met Jack. That was also a beautiful day, but that was, like, with somebody else. You know what I mean? Jack was cool. He still is cool. Like, he's still my friend. Like, we still, you know, he'll hit me up. He's doing good now. I'm proud of him. He's doing a lot better than he was because he finally got away from dark witches, and he, you know, I think he's actually back with family, and I think he's doing really good because I think, like, he got a car too, and I'm just really proud of him. Like, I know he was struggling, and then those witches were trying to take him, and he's stronger than my ex, to where, like, my ex couldn't get out of his, to where, like, this one did. This one, you know, and he's younger. This one is like 24, 26. No, he's 26. To where, like, he was more of a man than my ex, and he left the witches, and they were spelling the fuck out of him, and they were feeding and siphoning off of his energy because he had that bomb ass energy. He had a beautiful energy. But yeah, you guys, I love you. If you want to make a donation, I'm accepting equal energy exchange donations. So if you want to make a donation, okay, I'm going to leave my Cash App link below. And I'll do another video soon. I will see you.